Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today as we preview the match against Toronto FC. We have Phil Neville, head coach of Inter Miami, available now. Phil, you want to get us started with opening remarks?
Afternoon, everybody. It seems like I see more of you guys than I do of my wife at this moment in time. I seem to be doing these every 24 hours. So not much has changed from Wednesday night. Shawcross, Jones, Ventura, and Ian Frey are still out of the game. We're hoping that at least Ventura and Shawcross will be back soon, which we need. We haven't got much cover at the centre-back position. We approached the game in a really positive mindset. I watched the game again yesterday back from Wednesday night, and I've got to say that the last 30 minutes of the game, from the minute we scored the second goal, the attitude and commitment to make sure that we got the points, the 3 points, I thought was sensational, and it gave me great confidence. But I think what I've learned really quickly in this league is that from top to bottom, take away New England, who are on an absolutely fantastic run, the quality of the teams and the difference in the quality of the teams is very minimal. And we've done a lot of work on Toronto over the last 24 to 48 hours. And we know that Toronto are a really dangerous team. Forget their position in the league. They've got quality players that have got the ability to score goals, hurt you. And I think it's a really dangerous game for us, and it's equally as important as the mindset we had for the Chicago game in terms of the importance. We know the importance of the 3 points in terms of where that will take us. And we're just going to focus on the process that we've been focusing on for the last 4, 5, 6 games. And that's showing the characteristics that we showed on Wednesday night. So we're looking forward to the game. We've got to make sure that we regroup, we refresh. And tomorrow night I'll be picking the freshest team. The team that, can go the full 90, 96 minutes. The team that's fresh and not fatigued from the last 2 games that we've played this week. So there may be 1 or 2 changes to the lineup. But ultimately we've got a squad of players now that are all itching to play. The subs are making massive impacts in games. They've won us the last 2 or 3 games, and I'm sure tomorrow night will be no different. So we're looking forward to the game.
If you have a question on the call, please raise your hand. Also a reminder to please ask 1 question per turn. We're going to get started with Lauren. Go ahead, Lauren.
Thanks, Rafa. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Lauren.
You have talked about the importance of togetherness within the team, which is noticeable now. What are some of the things that are making that difference now?
Well, we have introduced little things off the field that I think's been really important. Compulsory lunches together. I think's made a real big difference. We've rearranged the whole dining room in terms of, because of COVID, because of the pandemic, we were virtually sitting in 1s and 2s. It was not conducive to a team environment. We've now rearranged the whole canteen. There's now a tennis table in the locker room of the first team. The players are spending more time together. They're getting to know each other. They're committing to each other better, and you can see that commitment on the field. But ultimately, you can do all the little things. But winning breeds confidence. Winning breeds the spirit and togetherness that comes with winning football games, and that's what we've seen, that never say die attitude against Nashville, against Chicago, of going right to the very, very, very last minute and second of the game to win a game. That comes from confidence and belief in each other and trust in each other. We speak a lot about trust in each other. If you can sit in a dressing room and you can look to your left and your right and opposite you, and you trust those people that are in that dressing room with you, you've got a real good chance of winning a football game. And now we're just beginning to trust each other, and you can see that on the field.
Next question, Michelle, and then we'll go to Franco.
Hi, Phil. Good morning.
Michelle, where have you been? Where have you been for the last 3 weeks?
I'm back.
We've won every game without you, so I think you should send. Is it Billy, the one that was doing it before you?
Yes, Bill Daly. He is undefeated. He's undefeated as the Miami Herald beat writer. So I don't know. I may have been the problem. You may want me to go back on vacation.
We thought that. Yeah, we thought that.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to ask you about defending set pieces and corner kicks. It seems like some of the goals, I mean, I haven't done all the stats, but it seems like some of the goals that you've given up have been on corner kicks or set pieces. What are you guys doing to improve that heading into the game this weekend?
Yeah, I think after the game on Wednesday night, we stayed in the facility for an hour and a half afterwards, and probably that was the biggest thing that we spoke about, and we were all frustrated with the last 3 or 4 games in terms of our defensive set play goals that we've conceded. But if you go back 3 or 4 games and you look at the statistics, in terms of defending set plays, I think we were second best in the whole of the league, East and Western Conference. So the next morning there was a balance about our thoughts about the way that we've been and about what we have to do. So ultimately, what we said to the players that are involved in defensive set plays is that they have to get back to doing the job that they did 4 or 5 games ago, which meant that they were the best in the league at defending set plays, and that is a fact. So that was a little bit of a. Sometimes I don't read much into stats, but that on Thursday morning was quite a good stat for us to show the team in terms of their ability on defending set plays this season has been outstanding. Like I say, they're second best in the league, I think we are. So, and that doesn't just change over 4 games. All it changes is players' attitudes, the ability to go and attack the ball, and maybe a softness that's maybe creeped in. So, it's an age-old thing. There's one ball that's going to come into the box, and it's one ball that you've got to go and attack. And ultimately, the last 2 or 3 games, we've lost concentration in one single moment in a game, and we've been punished for that against Chicago, against Nashville, and that's something that frustrates everybody. But the players have took accountability for that. They're not. This group aren't a team that's point fingers at the setup or whatever. They realise that it's been individual mistakes, and. We will be better because we've addressed that situation.
We'll go to Franco and then Mike. Go ahead, Franco.
Thank you, Rafa. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Franco.
Wanted to ask about Christian Mccoon, who we'll get to speak to in a few minutes. Think he's been very quietly but very reliably good as part of that 3 center back look or the 5-man back line. Last game, thought he was one of the better players, quietly just doing his job. What have you thought about him? Also, testament to the job you guys have probably done with him this year and his ability to execute. But I think he's looked a lot better, more comfortable with the ball at his feet than he did maybe a year ago. So just what have you thought about him recently and just over the course of this year? Thanks, Phil.
He's been outstanding, and what I've loved about Christian is that from where he was at the start of the season to where he is now, his growth has been incredible. He's leaner, he's fitter. He's a boy that played no football for 12 months. He's obviously he got the coronavirus. He suffered from that. Didn't play much football last year under Diego. Limited opportunities. He's young. He's in a foreign country. He doesn't speak the language. He's now speaking the language really well, and it's something that the technical staff noticed this morning. He's one of the most popular members of our team in terms of his personality and character. He's similar to Gregory in terms of he relates to all aspects and all nationalities within the team because of his he's got a cheeky personality. Ultimately, he's worked his socks off. We've put him through the mill in terms of some of the conditioning that we put into him, some of the strength and conditioning we've put into him, some of the technical work that we felt was missing from his game. When you have somebody that can play left centre-back, and left centre-back when you're his size, he's not the biggest, he's not the tallest, you wouldn't say he's the most imposing. You have to have something that's an X factor, and his left foot is an X factor for us. When he's coming out on that left-hand side, he gives us great control, and his composure is getting better and better. His decision making is getting better and better, and the growth I still think that he's got is a lot. And he's a young person that's like a sponge. He takes all the information on. He wants to learn, but he does it in a real humble way. And I think in terms of players that we've tried to develop in our trainings, he's probably been the one that's shone through more than anyone else at this moment in time in terms of his growth, and we're really pleased with how he's going, and he's becoming a really, really important member of the starting 11.
Last 2 questions. We'll go to Mike and then Steve.
Thank you, Rafa. Hello, Phil.
Hi,
nice
Mike.
to see you today.
Nice to see you.
After the game against Chicago, you were asked a question about if the boys sense when David's there, his presence there, and you said that he loves his team. He continues to support you with more support you may have received ever coaching. On a lighter note, did you know that in 5 of the last 6 games that you're unbeaten, this streak started when David dyed his hair the platinum blonde? Did you realize that? And if you did or did not, would you tell him to continue it? Because maybe it's a good thing.
You're saying I've got to dye my hair? Is that what you're trying to say, Mike?
No, no, I'm not saying that. But do you tell David to keep the hair platinum blonde since this all started?
Well, I think since his arrival, he arrived for the Philadelphia game. I think the only game he's not been present at is the NYC game. So he's undefeated since he came here. He's been in every day's training. You know, today he came and watched the first team, the senior team train. The minute that we stopped, he caught up with a few of the guys. You know, he likes to catch up with some of the younger players and give his advice, which obviously is brilliant. And then he goes over and watches the USL and the under-17s train and the academy train. He's not just in this building to look at the senior team and advise, you know, and give his opinion on the senior team. You know, he spends an awful lot of time over at the USL training, watching them and what they're doing. Sometimes he joins in with those young players. Sometimes if somebody's doing a crossing and finishing session, he'll go and join in and basically show them how to cross a ball like he used to do. And then he'll go and watch the under-17s train. And what that gives us, it gives us great support. When I talk about support, sometimes support is without words. Sometimes the support is just his presence there, you know, to your right, to your left, or just watching training. And for the under-17s coach, the USL coach, Darren, having his presence in and around what they're doing is massive, I think. And I think, you know, we say we're going to ban him from going home. He needs to get his green card as soon as possible because we're going to close all airports in Florida because the longer he's here and we keep winning, then he's not allowed to go home back to England. So it's been great having him. Obviously, he's a great friend, but he's also someone that's a great support as well for everybody in this football club. And the minute he comes into the football club, when we talk about a culture, he goes around and shakes everybody's hand, says good morning to every single person, from Gonzalo, Gregori, all the way to the people that work on the right-hand side of the building, in the marketing, in the commercial, in the offices. And I think I said it the other day, is that means so much to the people that are working harder than everybody else at trying to make this football club successful.
Last question, Steve.
Yeah, just following on from that, Phil. I don't know if you saw in the match towards the end, you know, the camera kept panning to David. He was getting very, you know, animated. You know, me and Franco do a pod, and I'm boring people to tears about class of '92 and stuff like that. But just the winning culture that you were brought up on, you and David, you know, you don't lose that kind of winning mentality, do you? And he was going pretty crazy on the sideline. I've never really seen him like that before.
Yeah, well, if you go back to the Nashville game, I remember the Nashville game. It was 2-2, and Nashville obviously are an outstanding side, and 2-2, I turned round and I think there was something like 8-9 minutes of injury time. It was 2-2, and we both said go for the win. We both said it. It's the first time we probably spoke to each other, because ultimately you're judged on winning. You know, there's a lot of things I saw. There's a lot of things I saw after the Olympics, you know, about winning, about finishing silver and bronze, etc. We was always brought up that winning was the most important thing, win at all costs, win and go to the very last minute. And what I would say is what's made him, I think, really proud over the last couple of home games is the fact that, and you know more than anyone else, Steve, though, that great Manchester United side, the amount of late goals that we used to score in the last minute. You know, you called it Fergie time. That minute from the 90th minute to the injury time that was being played was always Sir Alex's time. There was always the moment when the whole stadium knew in Manchester that United was going to get chances, United were going to score, because that team never give up. And I'd say that that's the one quality I've seen from the last 2 games that has made me the most proud. And I think it's give David massive happiness, because it probably made him feel like it was at Manchester United, but never say die attitude, fight to the very end. And those are massive qualities to have in a football club. And I think they're powerful signs. And I think you talk about the life that he has and the life that he's had. Winning is the most important thing, you know, to be the best. You think about the best athletes in the world. all they talk about is winning. Finishing second, third does not mean anything to them, because being the best at everything that he does and the best athletes does is all that matters. And if you're not the best, you've got to strive to be the best. And that's what we want to ingrain in this football club. We had an unbelievable 2-3 weeks ago, the USL. They won a game. They played really well. The week after, they lost. And what we're trying to educate to those USL players, even though it's development, even though we want to continue to develop players, is that winning becomes a habit. Winning becomes a skill, a part of the culture, a part of the character that you want in a footballer. And then the week after, they go and play Greenville here on Sunday, and they win. They score late on. That quality that we're trying to develop in this football club is the quality, I'd say, that was developed in us right from the very first goal from our parents, but especially from Sir Alex Ferguson. And that's the culture we want around the place. We want winners in this building. We want people that want to be the best and not settle for second best.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Guy.